Today is Sunday, September 25th. It has been a minute. So this video will be a reflection on my most recent backpacking trip, which ended almost 2 weeks ago, I believe. My girlfriend and I went to beautiful Bulgaria. Absolutely recommend it to anyone looking for a little spirit of adventure. Wonderful mountains, wonderful people, cheap, easy to travel, all around perfect. Basically an 11 out of 10. Just taking a little bit of time to unpack the experience, have appropriate reflection on the adventure, the experience, what it means relative to what's going on, and all the larger metaphysical things happening simultaneously. So many people, when either of us had mentioned that we were going on a trip, they would ask where we were going, and we'd say Bulgaria, and almost unanimously the response was something to the effect of, why? Or how did you pick that country? Why would you go over there? There's a myriad of reasons for it. We'll take a step back and look at what travel is for me and what it can be for other people in general. And I do differentiate between a vacation and travel or backpacking. Vacation to me is usually epitomized by the pursuit of relaxation, typically embodied with either a resort or a beach, or staying in approximately one place in its entirety, looking to get comfortable, recharge. And honestly, it could be many different places around the world, but with, by and large, the same kind of outcome. In other words, vacation is pretty easy. And traveling or backpacking, to me, is fundamentally different. You're diving into a new culture, looking to maximize what you experience, what you see, what you do, the interaction with the people, the culture, etc. And there's a lot more movement to try to experience as much as possible. And it's more work involved. I would venture to guess that many of the people that imagine a vacation would not be nearly as excited to join me on such a trip. There's usually a lot of hiking involved. And so kind of when looking at travel, backpacking versus vacation, it's a level of comfort, but it's what you get out of it. Okay, hold on to that for a moment. In the wider scope of our existence, why we're here, what we're doing here, no one can argue that we're born, so it seems we all pass, and in between what we call our lifetime, we have a number of years to experience life. Well, what does that mean? Do we owe it to ourselves to maximize the experience? What would that entail? What would be considered a more fulfilling life versus a more limiting one? It's my take that we come here with a purpose, and each person likely has their own individual purpose, but wrapped within that is this unique opportunity to have experience. And at the core of that, as I've mentioned so many times, is the importance of truth. Therefore, the pursuit of truth. And closely intertwined with that would be the pursuit of wisdom, as they are linked. As one pursues truth, encounters more of it, and then they put that into their life through the real Holy Trinity, their thoughts, their emotions, and their subsequent actions, they are embodying wisdom, is the acting out of truth, you could say. Well, you could certainly stay in your hometown your entire life and experience that and come to know every back alley and every person. There's so much more of this world on offer. There's so much more to learn. You know, would one book, even if it was the biggest book ever, would anyone consider, if you knew that from cover to cover, that you had encountered the totality of knowledge? No. I mean, you can take any example. If you ate at one restaurant, even if you ate everything they made, would you know the totality of food? So if we are here to come to know truth and come to know oneself, and to live out and go through a learning process throughout your lifetime, it would make sense that the more you come to encounter, the more you learn, the more wisdom you can embody. Would it not also make sense to have more experiences? And you didn't have to think about travel to imagine that. Imagine if you never left your house. Imagine how stunted you'd be in a type of a social interaction. Or if you never left your neighborhood, all the things you wouldn't see, all the opportunities to encounter suffering that would then lead to a greater gnosis or understanding, pool of knowledge. So you have to go do things in order to learn more things. That makes sense. Well, nature is also very interesting in that it is very hard to shortcut it. Right? Think about how, I'll just take nature and what comes to mind. It's a good chance you picture the outdoors, perhaps a forest, trees, plants, animals. You plant a seed, it's going to take a certain amount of time for that seed to become a tree, but that tree continues growing. See, nature is a constantly evolving, constantly self-learning mechanism. For this conversation, we can think of nature as our Earth. It's feeding back through all its receptors constantly, and it's growing, quite literally and metaphorically. The tree is growing. Well, so too do we grow. We grow physically, and then we grow emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Well, we know how we grow physically. It's kind of hardwired in. You just start shooting up. As long as you're eating some food, hopefully nutritious, your body's going to continue to grow physically. And then we have the mental and emotional and spiritual side. Well, how do you grow emotionally? You ever been in a relationship and it ended and you went through heartache? Did you not come to learn something through that experience? Through your emotions, the wide range of them. What a beautiful gift we have in order to interact with nature itself. So you're starting to grasp how we grow as people. Okay. Well, it's very hard to fast track nature, right? That seed's going to take so much time to turn into a tree. Yes, you can put fertilizer on it. Okay. Now compare that to people. How would you increase the rate at which you consumed knowledge and had experiences in order to process more information and therefore come to know more of the totality of truth and then come to embody more wisdom earlier? If at this point we're in agreement that people live and die, and within that time period we have this opportunity to grow as much as possible to fulfill ourselves, would it not then make sense that we should, to the best of our ability, seek to learn more or accelerate the process when possible? Read that second book, right? Go to that other restaurant. Take in more information to better not only experience life and the range of the emotions and the happiness that can come after that, but also to amplify and accelerate the pursuit of wisdom itself. So, long-winded way of saying, travel is like that fertilizer, okay? It is this opportunity to go have an experience, right? The 10 days I spent in Bulgaria are way more jam-packed with brand new experiences than 10 more days fulfilling my mundane, Monday through Friday kind of workflow. And that's why travel and vacation are different. Vacation is kind of taking a step back, relaxing, but not adding too much more to the plate of experience. Whereas travel, people say, why Bulgaria? And the answer is because it's a brand new place. It's so different. It's a place to go have much more experience so that within that time period, I can input more data, if you want to think of it as a computer. And coming out of that and reflecting and processing that experience, now you've gained some knowledge. Now you can kind of have the end result of more wisdom. Because and we might have slightly varying opinions on the matter, but most people would feel like there's a greater purpose to life and that they ought to be doing something to fulfill this opportunity. So, travel affords I wouldn't even call it a shortcut. It allows a heavy dose of the fertilizer of your own inner growth because you're taking yourself out of a comfort zone, going to a brand new land, new language, new people, new form of movement. Okay, how do they get from A to B? How do they communicate with each other? And by and large, we're humans and you're going to figure it out. But it gives you this little moment in time to really pour that fertilizer on so that when you come back to your Monday through Friday, you're a more enriched person because of what you experienced. Now, a bonus for me when I travel is I always want to go for hikes, find the best mountains that they have. So now I'm compounding the experience even more because I'm integrating myself with nature. And yes, I do get some of that vacation relaxation, if you want to call it that, even though we hiked, I don't even know, 30, 40, 50 miles. So we put in the effort, right? Nature's never going to give you anything without putting in the effort. And we reap the rewards, the high you get from reaching a peak on a mountain. The elation you feel after completing, a 10 or 12 mile hike and you're nestled in a mountain hut that night, taking it all in. So backpacking affords your opportunity to better fulfill your purpose here on this planet through the experience, in which if you are open to it, you will pick up the little pieces that are along the way so that you can better integrate them into your normal life, your regular life, your daily life, and that will lead to a expansion, a growth within your mental, emotional, spiritual body. Other wise people have noted that in nature, it would appear, and for us it holds true, I believe, that you're either growing or progressing or you're regressing. And so if all of us have equal opportunity in the sense that we've all incarnated here on this planet to progress through our lives, then we owe it to ourselves to do as much as we can to have a fulfilling experience while on this planet. And hence, I highly recommend the next time you get an opportunity to take a trip to consider going somewhere other than just a resort. Go to a country that sounds curious or interesting because you will get so much more out of it than simply the time spent away from work. You will get to better know yourself. And at the end of the day, that is ultimately why we're all here. It is that self-gnosis. It is that pursuit of knowledge, of understanding oneself, because through doing that, you better understand the world around you and your connection to Trog itself. And is there anything more important than that?